Semi-retired Bob here. I talk about the carnivore diet, all things related to the carnivore diet, and a few other miscellaneous odds and ends. Happy New Year. Well, almost. It's Friday night. New Year's is on Sunday, so it's close enough to say Happy New Year. Take a quick look here. We've got Hyla from Crafty and Carnivorish is here with us today. We've got Teresa. We've got Ellen. Jackie stopped in from Jackie's Jinx Journey, but I'm sure she's back over trying to get her live back on the air. I've got Leanne here, and John just showed up while I was off getting ready to launch the live. Hello, John. How are you today? If you're just arriving, go ahead and say hello in the comments. There's Gwen. Hello, Gwen. How are you today? So here we are. It's almost the first of the year. Our holiday challenge should be about done, hopefully. She's here for 10 minutes or so. Alrighty. Hello, Jackie. That's right. You start at 5:30 Eastern Time. And I start a little before that. But here we are. We're almost done with the holidays, so let me know in the comments how you did. Did you stick to whatever plan you came up with? Did you fall off of it just a little bit, or did you end up throwing it away and not doing anything stupid like I did? And I ended up not doing anything stupid for Christmas because I got so sick out at that Christmas party for the seniors. I see Patty is here. Hello, Patty. Yes, the weather was beautiful. For those of you that have had to listen to me complain about the weather down here in North Carolina for the last week or more, it was 70 degrees and sunny. I actually went out and did a little walking, recorded some of Sunday's video. Some of Sunday's video today. We'll see if I add to it or what, but I don't normally walk at all on Fridays because Friday's my live stream day and it's the day I rest up and let my body recover. But it was such a beautiful day, I had to go out and walk a couple laps around the church. And that was after I went to town and got my grocery haul. I got about 15 days worth of food. So my freezer is fully stocked again. 19 pounds down over the holidays. That is fantastic, Gwen. That deserves a high five and a fist bump because 19 may not seem like a lot, but it's not only a huge number, but most people gain weight during the holidays, so you've got that as well. Let's see here. Jackie says, I stuck to my 3 off-plan allowances, however, a little more than I planned, so half a win. Well, half a win is better than no win at all, right? Right. And let's see here. John says, fell off Christmas Eve, but Christmas I ate lots of meat till I was comfortably stuffed. Okay, that's good. That's the way we do it. You know, if you fall off one day, you just jump right back on the next and keep right on going. I can't stop cheating. Help. Okay, I've got a couple videos with why in the title, and on Sunday I've got another why video coming out for New Year's Day. But the basic thing to keep you from cheating, Angela. Hello, by the way. I'm glad you're here. The best way to stop cheating is to realize why you're doing it. You have to find your why. And for everybody, that's different. You know, my why when I first started was to be able to stand for more than 2 to 2.5 minutes without severe pain. But I am way beyond that now at almost the 8-month mark. I'm out walking anywhere from 4 to 8 miles a day. I haven't actually quite broken the 8-mile mark, but I've gotten beyond 7.5 a couple of times. So, but my big why now is in 2 years, I'm going to attempt to through hike the Appalachian Trail. You have to find what why works for you. And most people, just the general, I want to get healthier, I want to lose a little weight, that's general enough to get you started, but not usually enough to keep you on track. Um, the best way to keep yourself on track is realize why you're doing it. Whether it's you want to play with the grandkids or play with the kids, depending on how old you are. Um, Maybe you want to be able to take your dog to the dog park or take your dog for longer walks or get down on the floor and play with your grandkids, take them to the zoo, take them to a park. Whatever it is that you want to do, you have to keep that in front of you every day and say, okay, this this thing that I'm about to eat, is that going to help me reach those goals of playing with the grandkids or not help me reach my goals? And hopefully that helps. I've got another video, like I said, I've got another video coming out. I think it's scheduled for Sunday. Yes, and Nisha's starting a Carnivore challenge in January the 1st. We got a name there, Anna Marie Powell. Hello, you're looking healthier each day. Thanks, I appreciate that. Glad to see you made it to the live today. What's John? Oh, he's talking to Angela. And what is it? A glass of wine and my resolve goes. Well, get rid of the wine. Wine's not super good for you anyway. All of the research back in 20, 30 years ago that said a glass of red wine is good for heart health and all that kind of stuff, it's crap. Wine, no alcohol is good for you. Alcohol is poison to the system. Let's see. Not doing so well, been carnivore almost 3 years. This has been the worst for me. Cheater, cheater, cheater. Well, the good news is, Leanne, is that you're not going to undo 3 years worth of work in a couple of bad weeks. Just, make your plan. If you have to slowly transition back into it again to break the carb addiction, go ahead and do that. Whatever it is you have to do, but it works. You know what your whys are. Just make a plan and get back to it. Down 10 pounds from Thanksgiving. Now, 10 pounds, that's a huge number. Any weight loss, even if it's just 1 pound from Thanksgiving to New Year's, is not weight gain. And weight gain is what 99% of the people out there do. So even if you only lost a pound from Thanksgiving to now, you're still in the top 1%. Those numbers aren't factual. I have nothing to back that up. That just sounded good when I said it. And hello to you too, Hyla. Let's see here. Talking about that. Yeah. And see, that's why I agree with Professor K when people like Paul Saladino ought to be shut down, because Paul Saladino's method works very well if you are doing 3 to 5 hours a day of intense physical activity. But to put a blanket statement out there that fruit and honey are okay for the average person is, in my mind, criminal. And he has such a big following. There are a lot of people that are in your boat, Angela. So all I can say is, like I said, if you have to slowly transition back to full carnivore again, go ahead and do that. Slowly reduce the carbs back down until you can break that addiction again. Because having fruit is not carnivore. They are pure sugar, and they won't do good things to you. Let's see what else we got here. Yes, keto chow's magnesium drops every day in water. Just a few drops helps so much. And they have the magnesium drops. They have the electrolyte drops, which has all 3 in it. They also have daily minerals, which has some of the minerals you may or may not be missing, depending on where your food is sourced from. I highly suggest checking all of those. Have a great live, Jackie. Making a skillet pizza. If anyone would like to check out my replay, have a great evening. I'll probably see you. And yes, you will see me in Ready, Set, Keto if you're not already gone. I don't know if you're still here to see this or not. Yep. Trigger sugar once. Tom has arrived. How high was your blood sugar then and now? Is that directed at me, or were you talking to somebody in the chat? I'm assuming that's directed at me. My blood sugar was high. My A1C was 10.3 when I was originally diagnosed with diabetes. My most recent A1C check was 4.8, and my blood sugars run between 75 and 80 almost continuously. I hardly ever check them anymore because I don't have diabetes anymore. Let's see here. What else we got going on in the... Oh, Sana's here. Hello, Sana. Happy New Year. Yes. How are you today, Sana? Glad to see you made it. For those of you that are just joining us, let me know down in the comments how you did, because we're almost to New Year's. But yeah, let me know how you did with the overall holiday run. I had lost over 30 pounds until I started with the fruit. See, I've covered that. I'm not gonna hammer on him anymore because we all know how I feel about him and pushing his fruit diet. Because no matter how you want to say it, you can say that it's a meat-based diet, but you cannot say it's a carnivore diet. You cannot even say it's a keto diet. You can't even say it's a low-carb diet because he eats between 200 and 400 grams of sugar a day. He's just a sugar addict that manages to oxidize it because he's doing high-level surfing. Let's see here. What do we got here? Bert has checked in. Family visit went south because they had the flu. I'm sorry they had the flu, but I am happy you got to have a carnivore Christmas. I always hate it when you've got plans to go see somebody you haven't seen in a while, or to spend time with people that you like, and you can't do that because they get sick or you get sick or whatever. That's always a rough way to spend the holidays. But being able to cook for yourself on Christmas also has its bonuses as well. I'm glad you're here, Bert, by the way. Let's see what I'm missing here. Teresa's 9.5 months carnivore, down 97 pounds. Health did a complete 180. Yes, indeed. 97. Another 3 pounds and you hit the 100-pound mark. But 97 is a huge high five and a fist bump for Teresa. And Hyla uses the daily minerals and the electrolytes too. Yeah. I use the daily minerals, and I don't use them every day. Now, if the weather's warming back up, I may have to start adding them back in again because, like I said, it was 70 degrees out there today. It was really nice considering it was, about this time last week, it was closing in on 12 degrees. So it was really, really ugly. And now it's not. And it's supposed to be, the overnight lows are still supposed to be in the high 40s to high 50s, which is perfect sleeping weather. And it's supposed to get to mid 60s to mid 70s every day going forward, as far as I can see on the 1 week forecast. So I'm quite pleased with that. Hello, Tom. I'm glad you're here. Let's see who else is in the chat. Craig has made it. Any predictions on the Ohio State game tomorrow? I'm pulling for the Buckeyes. Well, I'm pulling for them too. Nobody's giving Ohio State a chance, so My gut feeling is that they will keep it much closer than people expect. In the end, I think Georgia probably wins by about a field goal. But if Ohio State can, since they've had all this time to prepare, and knowing that their scholarship running backs aren't going to be able to play, um, my gut feeling is that that Steele Chambers is going to end up playing both ways because he was originally a running back and moved to defensive back this year. So my gut feeling is that Steele Chambers may play both ways at some times. See here, DJ Parr, what's up, Bob? It's 70 degrees here. It's almost New Year's. I've got tomorrow's video already uploaded and done. I've got Sunday's video half recorded, maybe even a little more than half. So I'm doing pretty good. And I've already eaten, so I don't have to try and rush right in and start cooking after I get done with this because I got a little hungry earlier. So I went ahead and decided to cook before I did the live so that I can just sit here and relax for 10 minutes after it's over before I go over and check out Ready Set Keto's live. And that's what's up. How about yourself? And Sana's going to jump on board with beef, butter, bacon, and eggs on January the 1st. Anybody else? Yeah, I know I've seen in some comments of my other videos that people are making some plans for January the 1st. And if you can't really decide which route you want to go, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs is a really good way to go. If you're doing something now that involves any kind of vegetables or what would be considered ketovore or keto, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs is a really good place to go to for January. Leanne's going to jump in on beef, butter, bacon, and eggs as well. Any tips? Hard time sleeping on meat diet. All I would say, Tom, is vary when you're eating and see if it makes a difference. My days are full enough that I don't have any trouble getting to sleep at this point. But, if you're having trouble getting to sleep and you're eating, at 2 or 3 in the afternoon, try eating later. If that doesn't work, try eating earlier. I have no idea how many meals a day you're having, but start your eating window earlier or end it earlier or later. Just vary the times and see if that makes any kind of a difference. Because for some people, when your digestive system is really cranking along because you've just eaten a great big meal, they have a hard time getting to sleep. But other than that, I don't really have any suggestions. If anybody has any suggestions, go ahead and put them in the comments because I've never really had much trouble with sleeping. So I'm a bifurcated sleeper. I usually fall asleep about 9 or 9:30 in the evening. I wake up about 1. I piddle around for an hour or so doing things, and then I go back to bed and sleep another 3 or 4 hours. Let's see what I'm missing in the comments here. Teresa says, Tom, try some magnesium before bed. Okay, that might work. And Teresa's pretty smart about this stuff, so you might try that. Always looking for a reason to eat more bacon. Yes, I can agree with that. I haven't had bacon in months because I've been doing Lion Diet. But as I said, when I finally get the goal and stop doing Lion Diet and go back to straight up carnivore, bacon is the first food I'm going to add back in because I like bacon. I mean, let's face it, it's the duct tape of food. Hello from Central Texas. Hello to you too, James. I'm glad you're here. Oh, homemade beef jerky. I made myself. First time making. Good. Did it turn out okay? Did you bring enough to share with everybody? Angie? Crane? Angie? No. I don't use fasting drops at all. I use Keto Chow's daily minerals, which you're supposed to have like a half a cap full every day. I use about a quarter of a cap if I'm going to be out doing stuff in the sun. Other than that, I get plenty of everything I need just from eating meat. And unless I'm going to be out, oops, I just saw. Hopefully, I didn't just mute myself. Hang on a second. That might have just been the speakers. I don't think I actually messed up the mic, but no, I don't use fasting drops at all. I use Keto Chow's daily minerals. If I'm going to be out in the sun, and usually even if I haven't had a lot of hot weather or haven't been out in the sun a lot, I bought an eyedropper kind of a thing for it. I usually will put an eyedropper full in a glass of water about once a week just to make sure I'm keeping up with that. But I don't really worry about it unless I start to feel weird. Yes, Craig is late. Everyone smash the like button for Bob. Get the likes up. I got Dr. Chafee's dehydrator and slicer. Going to try homemade carnivore crisps. That sounds like fun. Luckily for me, I'm not a snacky kind of a person. So I'm not as tempted. I'd like to try carnivore crisps, and I'd like to try, all of the good carnivore snacks that are out there. There's 3 or 4 of them, but they're just so expensive. I can either buy, a bag of something that's going to be crispy and is not going to be nearly enough to make a meal, or I can go buy a ribeye steak at the grocery store and cook it up. So that's what I'm doing. But let me know how those turn out for you, Teresa. And I got my BBBE chart posted on my fridge. Even got hubs on board. Good job. Sometimes it's hard to get the spouse involved as well. Hey, we're up to 35. If you haven't said hello yet, don't forget to say hello in the chat. Not really. Well, I eat once a day, and it varies depending on when I eat. I did just get done with a 5-day fast because I was sick and didn't feel like eating. And, I believe that when you are sick, regardless of what that illness is, fasting is the best way to get well because fasting engages autophagy, and autophagy breaks down bad cells and turns them into good cells. So it only makes sense that it will help you to heal. But depending on when I eat, like today I ate at about 3:00. So, and tomorrow I probably won't get around to eating till between the 2 semifinal games. So that'll be sometime 7 or 8 o'clock, somewhere in there. So that'll be about a 25, 26, 28-hour fast, whatever it is. But I eat once a day, and I usually eat once a day when I get hungry. I don't really schedule the meals. I wait till I get hungry. On Wednesdays and Sundays, I have to wait till after church because they do things in the teen center, which is where the stove and oven are. I don't like to, in case I make a mistake, I don't want to leave beef smoke hanging in the air for their church service in the teen center. So I cook late on Wednesdays and Sundays. Watching 2 bowl games and you at the same time. Yep, I was watching the bowl games, but shut them off with about 15 minutes to go because I don't want anything to interfere with my signal, and I'll tune in and see how they were going. Last I checked, Notre Dame was getting drilled by South Carolina, and UCLA was playing somebody. Oh, the Ohio Bobcats from Athens, Ohio. Last I saw, they were down 7-0 to Wyoming, and I'll catch up on all that action after the live stream. But you guys take precedence over that. Now, If Ohio State was playing today, they wouldn't have been alive. That's just the way it is. But everything else, I can catch up to it later. Yeah, Patty also basically always does B and E. I'm feeling kind of held back. I do a day of ketovore thrown in just to break up the monotony and give you a change. That's not a bad idea. Whatever works for you. I've said this many times on this channel. Whatever works for you, if you find something that works and it continues to work, then there's no reason to change. And if, once a month or once every other month you decide you're going to have, a potato with butter or some green beans cooked in bacon grease or whatever, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm not, dogmatic that says, I'm not one of these guys that says, well, you have to just eat carnivore. You just have to eat beef. That's all you're allowed to eat. If you don't just eat beef, then you're not really a carnivore. You're not really lying. No. If you find something that's working for you, stick with it. Let's see here. Yeah. Well, what can happen a lot of times if you're, when you say you were carnivore yesterday, that leads me to believe that you were not carnivore the day before, or you have not been carnivore today. And the problem with falling off the wagon and mixing macros, Professor K has a lot of really good videos on the Randall cycle and just basic human physiology. If you're eating a carnivore, a high-fat carnivore diet one day, but then you dump a bunch of carbs on it the day before or the day after, that can cause you to hold water. Your ankles will swell up, or other people, you'll hold inappropriate inflammation due to the Randall cycle and other things that I stepping on that darn thing. So that's, one of the reasons why, you should try to stick to it as much as you can, because, like if I ate the amount of salt that I eat on my meat back when I was, doing all the other stuff, my blood pressure would be through the roof, because that salt would just keep holding on to inappropriate inflammation and making it worse and worse and worse. But, I just got a brand new thing of Redmond's real salt. I buy the 1 pound bags, and I went through a 1 pound bag since I got here. So that's been like 2.5 months. I went through a pound of salt. So that's why it's really important to stick with it as much as you can, because flopping back and forth can cause problems. Let's see what we got here. 5 milligrams of melatonin puts me to sleep. Sleepy Time tea does that too. Okay. And if that puts you to sleep, then go right ahead and do that. If that works for you, that's fantastic. Just came in from getting some yard work done. Took advantage of the warm weather. Have a happy new year. Absolutely. If you get some more, especially as cold as it was across most of the country this last week, if you're getting a little break from that, whether it's like down here where we're getting a 70-degree day today, or if you're sub-zero, now it's just warmed up to 35 or 40, that's still a much warmer day. So yeah, certainly get out there and get some stuff done. What do we got here? Oh, yep, brought enough. You brought enough for everyone. Okay, I'll expect you here in North Carolina with a bag of it for me any moment now. Hello, Jeannie. How are you today? For those of you that are just joining us, because we're at about 40 now, if you haven't said hi in the chat yet, be sure and say hi. And we're looking for updates on how you did for the holidays. So if you lost a little weight or gained a little weight, be sure and let us know in the comment section. I think I've already seen that one. I wonder how I got behind like that. Oh, you guys are talking about a dehydrator. I promised to eat the crisps with my meal, and yes, they are expensive. Yes, they are. Now, yeah, if you're making crisps to have as a side dish, I totally get that. 'Cause I don't snack. I don't. I eat my one meal a day and I'm done. Um, I'll sometimes go on Amazon and stare at the fruitcakes for a while, but I never order one, and I'm certainly not going to start now. But Christmas season, you got to have a fruitcake, right? And Crafty agrees they are expensive. Hello from Buckeye, Arizona. Hello, Sharon. How are you? Things in that's a really good town name, by the way. Because as everybody that watches me on a regular basis knows, I am a Buckeye fan. Has nothing to do with Buckeye, Arizona, but still, I'm glad you made it. Not that expensive. Let's see here. Craig saying, well, I don't know. One thing at a time, Craig. Um, Bacon, sausages, shrimp, um, maybe a little cheese. I actually like Parmesan cheese mixed in with my beef bowls. So instead of just having ground beef, I'll have ground beef with a little bit of grated Parmesan over top of it. So we shall see. But bacon's the first thing. Kelly says hello. You love your t-shirt. Yeah, this is one of the t-shirts that sort of fits me because I bought it since I started losing weight. It's still a little big now, but t-shirts I'm not as worried about. I got another pair of pants on order, so that'll give me 4 or 5 pair of pants that fit mostly. The first 2 pair I bought were 42s, and those are way too big now. Thank goodness I have a belt. The most recent pair that came in were 40s, and they are still loose, so I ordered one pair of 38s. We'll see how long those last. And of course, I still have several pair of drawstring sweatpant type things that will get me on through. Let's see here. Patty says down 68 pounds in not quite 5 months. I think it shakes me up to do a day of ketovore once in a while, but it's always I'm assuming that's supposed to be low carb veg, like asparagus or green beans or cabbage. I like cabbage. That may be something that I do because one of my favorite dishes is to take some sausages, cut them up into chunks, let them start to get brown. Now I've told you about adding shrimp, but the other thing that I used to like to do is I'll put a little water in it, put some chopped up cabbage in it, and let it simmer away till the cabbage gets soft. Scoop it all out and just have sausages and cabbage. I love that. But I'm probably not ever going to eat vegetables again now, which is too bad. I never really liked asparagus. Green beans cooked in bacon grease, awesome, really, really awesome. But again, I've learned too much that I might try a mouthful here and there, but I'm not going to ever add veggies back to my diet. Yes, no fruitcake. What's that? Is that a gross emoji? You have obviously never had really good fruitcake. Now, there are a lot of people that make fruitcake that I don't like. I wouldn't consider calling it fruitcake. But some of the expensive ones, like, a 1 pound fruitcake for 45 or $50 on Amazon, is very similar to the ones that my mom used to make, that she would make it before Thanksgiving, and it would sit in this aging pan. She'd change the apples that were in it, sliced apples, to keep it moist. She'd put those in there. She would change those every week, but the fruitcake didn't get cut into until Christmas because it took a month for it to age properly. Those are good fruitcakes. So if you've never had a really good fruitcake, Now that you're carnivore, probably not going to try it, but if you do, make sure you get a good one. A good fruitcake should be very expensive. If it's cheap and affordable, it's not real fruitcake. Sherry Daubenmeyer, hello from Lancaster, Ohio. I went to school with some Daubenmeyers because I went to Logan Hocking High School, just down the road from Lancaster. Um, so, how's the weather in Lancaster today? Is it cold or did it warm up a little bit there? Sharon says Ohio State Buckeyes came here to visit once. I gained over the holidays. I consumed many items I should not have. I'm wondering if anyone had advice on making round steak tender and taste better than thick cardboard. Um, there are a lot of people that are much better cooks than I am. Basically, when I buy cheaper cuts of meat, I tend to basically throw it in the oven with some water on it. Sometimes I'll take a little bit of water and like a half stick of butter and then cover it and cook it on the low heat for 2 or 3 hours. And then turn up the heat to the broiler or put it in a cast iron skillet and sear it on both sides. That usually makes it come out edible anyway. Yeah, we're up to 49. Awesome. I'm glad you're all here today. Bert says, I plan to do a lot of walking in 23. Carnivore diet makes all day walks much less of an effort. Constant energy without need to eat all the time. Yes, indeed. I find that as well, Bert. And walking in 23, I plan to do a lot of walking in 23 as well. As I discuss in the video that comes out tomorrow or the next day, I don't remember which one I put it in, but I'm talking about. I'm hopeful that this fall, because one of the things I'm doing to push forward is I've been practicing my getting up and down off the floor, because if I'm going to go out on an overnight backpacking trip, much less through hike the Appalachian Trail, I need to be able to get down on the ground, crawl into the tent, and then in the morning get out of the tent and get back up. So I've been doing a lot of that kind of stuff, and I'm hopeful that this fall I actually get out and do a couple of weekends, or at least some overnighters this fall, um, to get that ball rolling. Because by the time fall gets here, I'll have about a year and a half to finish getting ready for the Appalachian Trail. Those acai bowls have been so popular. Sugar bombs too. Yeah, there are a lot of sugar bombs out there. See, love fruitcake. Best comes from Corsicana, Texas, from the Collins Street Bakery. I'm guessing it's really expensive, but I'm also guessing that it's really, really good. 55 degrees, sunny and warm in central Ohio today. Excellent. Let's see here. And Paula had grandparents in Lancaster, Ohio, lived on Oak Street. Always went fishing at Lake Logan for bluegill. Yep, Lake Logan, that's an old fishing hole that a lot of people go to. There were actually some ponds out on the back of our property that I didn't actually fish. I stood by the water and watched other people fish, but I don't fish. Yes, there are a lot of Daubenmeyers in Hocking and Fairfield counties, your husband's family. Yep. Depending on how old your husband is, and my guess from looking at your picture, you're a little younger than I am, so it would probably be his older brothers that might know my sisters. Hard to say. Let's see here. On hour 47 of my 7-day fast, Completed 91 days of carnivore and down 40 pounds. Blood sugar stabilized. Feeling terrific. Excellent, Paul. I hope you make it. You know, I'm not a huge fan of long fasts, but if you feel like it's something you want to do and can do without causing you any trouble, then by all means go right ahead. Awesome. You use the fruitcake tins as doorstops. But hey, did not lose or gain, maintained is worthy of a high five and a fist bump because most people gain over the holidays. So if you stayed the same, that's the same as a win since um, most people gain over the holidays. Squats and push-ups are very important for mobility. No gym required. Yeah, well, I can't do push-ups, and I haven't really been doing a lot of squats because I walk a lot, so my legs are getting plenty of exercise. I suppose you could call me getting down on the floor and then back up a squat, but that's yeah. I've never been to a gym. Well, I won't say I've never been to a gym because I used to work at the Y. Once upon a time, one winter I spent a winter working at the front desk of the Y. Greetings from Southwest Florida. Southwest Florida, as in Tampa or further southwest. Um, and what's the weather like down there, Janine? Make everybody in the chat jealous. You have more energy than I do, Hyla. I walk, and that's about what I do. Kay says, "What's a good modified push-up?" Well, what I would start with is just stand about a foot to a foot and a half back from a wall and push up off the wall. And as you feel like they're not enough to give you to actually give you exercise, you can move your feet further back from the wall. And then when you're in danger of tipping over because your feet are so far back, I would then move to a staircase, put your feet on the ground, and start at about the third or fourth step and do push-ups that way, and then slowly work your way down the steps until you're actually doing real push-ups on the ground. The way I do my modified push-ups is I use the door of the trailer on the ground. I hold a plank like so, and then I slightly bend my elbows, and then I hold it for a long 10 count, then I push it back up, and then I slowly bend my elbows again and hold it for another 10 count and do that a few times. But I don't actually do a whole push-ups because this shoulder is still not, I mean, it's moving much better than it used to, but it still hurts if I push it too hard, and it just doesn't hold up to push-ups very long. Hey, we're over 50, up to 53. Hello, everybody. I'm glad you're here. We're talking about all things carnivore diet, so feel free to jump right into the chat and ask your questions. I'm trying to get to everybody. We've got about 15 minutes left here, so I can still get to quite a few more questions. I would stop at a 72-hour fast. I've been long over tends to upset your stomach for a while after. Well, the reason you get an upset stomach after a longer fast is you ate too much too quickly. When you're breaking your fast, you should have if you cooked a whole steak, just cut a little chunk off the steak and take a bite or two of it, and then wait 15 or 20 minutes before you eat the rest of it. Dr. Berry suggests one scrambled egg or a cup of bone broth or something just to get your digestive system going again, and then eat a big meal. Yeah, kitchen counter works good too. And yes, some people don't handle long fasts real well. I didn't have any trouble coming off the 5 day that I just did because I was hungry. I did eat just a couple of bites of the steak and then let it sit there for probably not long enough, and then I powered it all down because I'm a pig that way. And I was hungry because I hadn't eaten in 5 days because I was sick. Hello, Bob. Nice to see you made it. Happy New Year's from the UK. Let's see here. I got 5 on the Central Time, so it's probably about 11 o'clock there in the UK. I'm just guessing though. Oh, and Angela, she's from the UK also. And Dee says hello to everybody. Hello, Dee. I'm glad you made it. I hope you're having a great day. And Madeline has shown up and said hello. Hi, Madeline. How are you doing? If any of you newcomers have any questions, be sure and drop it down in the comments because I still got about 15 minutes left. So I'll try to get to any questions that anybody has. And Paula has done long fast before, and she knows how to I'm assuming that's supposed to say refeed properly. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Let's see if I miss any other questions in here. Yes, happy holidays and a great New Year's. I hope everybody did have a great Christmas last week. I hope everybody has a safe New Year's Eve tomorrow night. And something I always tell people, if you're, be safe on New Year's Eve. Don't go out and do anything stupid. However, if you're going to go out and do something stupid anyway, go big or go home. And what I mean by that is if you're going to go out and do something really stupid on New Year's Eve, I want you to do it so spectacular that I get to see the replay of your evening on an episode of Cops. Yes. Or if you really go all out, maybe even America's Most Wanted. If you're going to do it, you might as well do it right. And Bob, your new haircut looks familiar. Yep. James, it's a lot like his, although I don't shave my head. There's still stubble all over. And I do this, well, if you've been following the channel for a while, I did this back at the end of summer. I do this 2, maybe 3 times a year. And I'm still using the same less than $20 clippers that I bought like 20 years ago. Haven't paid for a haircut since. And I don't care enough about how I look to go out and spend that kind of money on a haircut, especially if you get a nice, one of those normal person haircuts. You end up having to get it trimmed, every month or so, or sometimes even less. That's just way too much money to spend on that kind of stuff. Let's see here. Oh, I lost the comments. There's the comments. She's saying hello to people. Let's see here. Okay. I've never heard of it. If it is just electrolytes, I'm all for it. Even if it has some kind of flavor, but it's sweetened with something that isn't going to knock you out of ketosis or increase your sugar cravings, and you know that better than I do. I'm afraid to try the flavored electrolyte drinks like the ones from Element that all sound really good, but I'm afraid that they're going to be so good that they trigger sugar cravings in me. Even though there's no sugar in them, it's all stevia or monk fruit or whatever it is they're using these days to make those things sweet. So as long as there's no bad ingredients in it, I'd say go ahead and give it a try. But be aware that if it's sweetened with something, it may trigger your sweetness cravings. So just be aware that can happen. What did I say that was funny? I don't remember now. And Happy New Year 2023 to everyone. Yes, you too, Paula. I hope you have a great New Year's Eve. Oh, I bet you're laughing at me saying go big or go home. I want to see you on America's Most Wanted. That's probably what you're laughing about. Let's see here. ND says Happy New Year's to everyone. Yes, Happy New Year's to everyone as well. 2023 is going to be our year. We're all going to have a great year in 2023, regardless of how stupid the world goes around us, because we're going to take control of our own health. We're going to do what's best for us, and to heck with what anybody thinks or says. That's the best New Year's resolution you can make. See, Madeline agrees with me. Go big or stay home. Yes. An episode of Cops, an episode of America's Most Wanted, or at least on the local 6 o'clock news. I mean, you gotta, because I don't do any stuff like that. Now, because Ohio State plays the late game on New Year's Eve, our game doesn't start till 8 o'clock. That game will probably just be getting over about the time the ball drops. So I will probably be up for midnight for the first time in a really long time. So I remember before Mom had to go help Randy with his daughter, she was retired living down south of Tampa in a little town called Ruskin. And she lived in a retirement community there. And I was down visiting her for the holidays. And we had a New Year's party. And of course, at the time, she was 60-ish. So this has been 20, 25 years ago. But she was 60 or so. And we invited all of her friends over who were all, she was the youngest one in the park. So they were all older than her. But they came over. We played cards for about 3 or 4 hours. We ate lots of good food. We drank. Well, they drank lots of alcohol. I've never been an alcohol drinker because I've had gout for 40 years. But they drank drinks. We had fun. And then about 9 o'clock, because they're all 60 and older, at 9 o'clock, we all said Happy New Year's. And everyone went home and went to bed. And we were all, I'm guessing, in bed by 9:30 or 9:45 at the latest, because that's the way us older people roll. And Kay says, going keto for the New Year's with prime rib and Hoppin' John. I don't know what Hoppin' John is, but go for it, Kay. Keep us posted how your journey goes. Let's say Kay on the Carno train. Yes, indeed. Stick with it. And Sherry says, I used to dream about hiking on the AT. I've been to a few parts for very short hikes. The flies were awful in the Adirondacks area. I'm going to through hike it. See, I've wanted to through hike it. I always thought I was going to through hike it when I got out of the service. But I got kicked out of the service because I had gout, and my health has been slowly going downhill for 40 years. So I'd pretty much abandoned that as a dream. But since I'm getting healthy again, and my walking and hiking has increased dramatically over the last couple of months, I'm going to attempt to through hike it. Flies don't bother me. I mean, there aren't any in here at the moment because it's only been warm for one day, but I'm convinced that the state bird of North Carolina is the common housefly, because they are everywhere down here. And every little crack in the trailer they come through. So I end up with, usually 2 or 3 flies I have to kill every night before I go to bed when the weather's nicer. But in my preparations for it, I may go do a section of that, depending on where I'm at the time. Because I plan on doing shorter hikes and overnights and working up to weekends and week-long trips over the next 2 years, because I'm targeting 2025 for my through hike. Yes, Happy New Year's 2023. Safe travels to everybody. And Bert says, I bought clippers after the first lockdown in 20. Since then, the haircut budget goes to meat. Excellent. Yep. See, if you've got a simple haircut like mine, it's very easy to do it yourself. We got a few other here. No, I'm not going to be on North Carolina news because tomorrow, what do I have in there? I've just got a roast to have for tomorrow. I'm going to cook that up. I'm probably going to stick it in a short pan of water, cover it, and let it slow cook for about 3 hours, and then finish it up on the broiler. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch football and eat, and that's pretty much all I'm going to do tomorrow is watch football and eat. I haven't turned it loose in decades. From what I can see on the website, the Kiss My Keto electrolyte drink looks good. Thanks for checking on that, James. So there you have it. I forget who asked about that, but there you have it. James went and looked it up for you. Thank you for doing that. Delilah, who's playing? That sounds like Georgia's time. I'm a Georgia fan. I'm very, very sorry you're a Georgia fan, but I'm a Buckeye. And Ohio State is playing in the evening against Georgia. And while I still, because nobody's giving Ohio State a chance, I do actually think Georgia's going to win by 3 to 5 points. But it's going to be much, much closer than everybody thinks because Ohio State is a very good team. And they're getting a lot of people back that have been banged up all year. So we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting. Henry says, do you get some... Yeah, well, I don't know that I'll call it support so much as people understand because when I was here last year, I was wearing size 58 pants, and now I'm wearing size 38 pants. So they understand. They may not exactly understand what I'm doing, but they can see the results, and they can see that, wow, he's lost a ton of weight. And instead of using his walker or cane to get into church, he's out there walking laps around the building. So something is obviously working for me, and they see that. And I occasionally get people who ask, and they're curious and they're interested in maybe losing some weight, but most of what I hear is, oh, I could never give that up. I could never do that because I couldn't give up X, whatever X happens to be. And the first time they ask, I just kind of let that slide. If they ask a second time, I come up with a question. Let's say they say, well, I could never give up dinner rolls. I said, well, are dinner rolls worth jeopardizing your long-term health for? And that's the way I'll come back at them. I have done that to a couple of people that have asked, and some people are receptive to that approach, some people are not. All I can say is I tried at that point, but yeah, I get, well, like Miss Jessica, the church secretary. I mean, she always gives me her grocery card for the food lines that when I go, even shopping the sales, I ended up saving an extra $12 today using her card on stuff. So that was a bonus. So yes, I do get some good support here. I guess I would have to say yes, I do get support. Let's see here. I'm 63 and never in bed before midnight. Always been a night owl. Excellent. I've never been a night owl, but that comes from years of driving a truck for a living. And depending on what part of the country you're in, if you're driving an over-the-road truck, you usually get up between 4:30 and 5 to get started so that if you're heading for some place where parking is usually a problem, you can get in and get a parking space by 3 or 4 in the afternoon before, because some of these places, if you get there after 5 o'clock, you're not going to get a parking place. So I've always been a early morning person. I've always gone to bed early. And now that I'm retired, I still go to bed early because I like sleeping. Okay, looks like it's just electrolyte, zinc, and stevia. And there's nothing wrong with adding a little zinc to your diet. Let's see here. Somebody's laughing at Craig. Don't laugh at Craig. Don't encourage him. He doesn't need any encouragement. He's Hoppin' John is a black-eyed peas with rice. No, I have no New Year's superstitions, none whatsoever. I don't have any superstitions. If I see a black cat, I'll try to run it down instead of letting it cross my path. I walk under ladders all the time. The big problem with walking underneath ladders is that if the guy on top drops his can of paint, you either get bean in the head or covered with paint. But no, I don't have any superstitions. And so the casserole, brown, wild rice, black-eyed peas. Yep, I've never heard of it. It must be a southern thing, or wherever you're from. Maybe a UK thing. I don't know. But tonight's the first night I've ever actually heard of Hoppin' John. Yes, Teresa's coming up on 1 year. And Sally made it. Hi, maybe I'll move south. Every warmer day here, there are a couple of spiders inside up in the northeast. Yeah. Spiders. Don't like them. Since nobody added the O at the end, I will add the O, Ready, Set, Keto. Happy New Year's to everyone. Celebrating the life I've been since my 20s. 213 pounds, down 148 since January 25th. Here's to better 2023. All right, Ivan, that's awesome, awesome, awesome. That's deserving of a high five and a fist bump. Good job. I haven't quite lost that much. I'm only down 125 at this point. I started on May the 9th. And I am now lighter by a half pound than the weight that I was discharged from the Army at in 1983. So another few pounds and I'll be lighter than when I actually went into the Army. And if I actually get all the way to 160, I think the last time I weighed 160 was about 8th grade. So that'll be a big accomplishment. We'll celebrate. Yes, we're going to have a little party. Maybe we'll do a special live stream with 3 or 4 of us for Teresa's 1-year anniversary. Yep. Buckeyes on the big screen tomorrow night. Steak and lobster dinner. I'm not underestimating them. I think they can win. I don't know. I mean, Travion Henderson hasn't been very good this year. And the other guy's supposed to be back. What I'm looking to see happen, what probably will happen, because we're so short of scholarship running backs, is that Steele Chambers, who was originally a running back and switched to defensive back, is Steele Chambers may play some both ways. We'll see what happens. And Ryan Day's an awfully good coach with, the chance for the entire team to heal. But so is Kirby Smart. So it ought to be an epic game. And either way, I expect it to be a 3-point game. No, never. JM, I will never go back to adding carbs in my diet. Maybe the occasional green bean, but probably not, because I know how bad oxalates are for you. No. Why would I go back to dumping carbs down my throat when I've said so many good things by not dumping carbs down my throat? Let's see here. JM, are you worried about? No, I actually would not fail a glucose tolerance test because I took a glucose. It wasn't actually a glucose tolerance test, but if you go back and watch my videos, I had a piece of pie and 2 pieces of cake on Thanksgiving. And of course, they made me feel terrible the next day. But I checked my blood sugar when I got home from that, which was about 2 hours after the uh, the second piece of cake, and my blood glucose was 82. So I have a normal insulin reaction to glucose. Um, no, I'm not. I'm not worried about insulin resistance at all because I'm not insulin resistant. I'm no longer diabetic. Never a reason. You don't need to. No, wrong, bad information. As Professor K says, there is the exact requirement for human beings for carbs is 0 grams ever. All the glucose the body needs can be supplied by gluconeogenesis. There is never, ever a reason to dump a carbohydrate down your throat. Now, if you want to, because you're addicted to them and you're doing lots of activity and you can handle them like a certain doctor who eats fruit every day, more power to you. But the requirements for human beings for carbohydrates in their diet is 0, not 1 gram ever. Let's see here. Queen Bee, I hear the same from people. Yeah, I tell them you'd be surprised what you'd give up when you feel better not eating it. Absolutely. That is exactly right. How do I not get sick of eating meat? How could you possibly get sick of eating meat? I love hamburgers with salt. I love steaks with salt. And of course, the meals I've had recently, because I got those roasts on sale, I've had ribeyes cooked just right. I have stew meat cooked that I usually cook up like at sirloin tips. I never get tired of meat. I just don't. If I was hungry enough, I could eat meat twice a day instead of just once a day. But I only eat once a day. I'm doing a quick scan here because we are over time. It's just about time for Ready, Set, Keto. Yes, walking past peanut butter cups and not even care. Excellent. I'm not there just yet. I can get behind Go TCU because they're playing that team up north, but um, in looking at the teams, um, I'm not going to hold my breath on TCU winning that game. They could because their quarterback is very good and they've got some good weapons, but TCU's been a little susceptible to the running game this year, and nobody runs the ball like that team up north does. So we shall see how it goes. Okay, looks like they may not make the stream, but we're nearly the same age. But you feel like the father I never had. Well, thank you, Kay. Let me take a quick. Thanks for that link. Crafty, very good. And Teresa's right. You crave meat once you're fat adapted. Sharon says Happy New Year. Just to kind of do some rapid fire here real quick. BJ Dowell, hello to you. You look like you've been losing more. Excellent. I don't know. I mean, I am down for the holidays. And I'll click this lesson. Never get tired of beef. I'm not a big on pork or chicken. I like beef liver, and she eats eggs sporadically. Yeah, I'm beef. Beef is what I like. Thank you all so much. Don't forget, in about 6 minutes, Ready, Set, Keto is going to start their live stream. So take a break, grab a drink of water. I eat once a day, so I fast, depending on when I eat, 23 to 25 hours a day. Thanks for stopping by. I hope everybody had enjoyed their time here. Have a great day, everyone. And I will see you either live next week or I will see you tomorrow from the screen of my video. Happy New Year, everyone. We'll see you next time.